Anthropic wants everyone to know that they're steering us into a brave new world. They've now officially taken over OpenAI on almost every front, becoming the most powerful AI company in the world.
I was watching this graph for a while and I said, oh yeah, we'll probably become the AI company with, the most revenue and the most valuation sometime around this time. And indeed it has happened.
You know what, guys? Someone has to tell the truth. When it comes to these AI companies, the more successful you're perceived, the more opportunities you have for investors to chime in and invest more money, which in return allows you to advance your product. So of course the CEO is going to boast about how successful their AI company has been in a short period of time. There's an advantage to that.
Mythos is marketed as a quantum leap in what AI means for society. They vowed never to expose it to the public.
Capabilities in a model like this could do harm if in the wrong hands. And so we won't be releasing this model widely.
Some of the early companies that we gave this to said things like, this is a super weapon. Please don't release this.
3 days was all it lasted before the US pulled the plug and banned Fable 5 completely.
So you must be wondering, how come we don't regulate these new AI models? See, the thing about these AI models in general is that they're advancing at such a high rate that the laws that we currently have are not being made at that same rate. So if laws are not made at the same rate of AI advancing, or at least closing the gap, it's going to be very hard to regulate these AI models. And that's probably a dilemma we're going to continue to face.
Meaning it's currently unavailable. Citing a narrow jailbreak apparently first reported by Amazon, the model can apparently be tricked into working more like Mythos by asking it to inspect code bases. The Hacker News pointed out how absurd that is, as this jailbreak essentially asks the model to fix a code base and expose its flaws. Behaviors that are absolutely fundamental to any frontier model. That's a lot of progress in a short space of time from one company, especially given that Anthropic just wanted to pause AI development completely for the good of humanity, as AI companies have said this many times over the last couple of years. And here we are all over again.
I personally do not believe that AI development is going to stop, because a lot of these AI companies are at a fierce competition with one another. So if one decides to exit the competition and fall behind, there's no guarantee the other AI companies will do the same. And the cold truth is, they've already invested a lot of money into making AI and advancing it. So quitting or slowing down to them would be all for nothing, would be a waste of money. And we all know companies do not like wasting money.
This apparently chaotic series of events begins to feel more logical in light of Anthropic's plans to go public at the value of nearly $1 trillion. Fulfilling that ambition requires an amazing story to get you to buy in. And what's better than describing AI as both the potential creator and destroyer of the world, somehow in the same month? Actually, the scariest possibility is that both outcomes are true at the same time. The ultra-powerful model and the doomer hype designed to funnel money into the IPO.
This goes back to what I was talking about earlier. Think of it like a college basketball player. You had a great season, you scored a lot of points, and now you have NBA scouts scouting for you, giving you all types of offers, right? You're gonna roll with the NBA scouts that gives you an offer that's best suited for you. And that's the exact gameplay when it comes to Anthropic. They're a private company with a lot of potential, and they're not willing to go public unless the investors are willing to give up a good chunk of change. Because the bigger initial public offering, the better it is for the company to get the ball rolling.
You can now see how the good guys of AI are launching a two-pronged attack, stealing the industry from OpenAI and occupying the private and public sectors in what has become the most impressive power grab in startup history. Anthropic has managed with remarkable precision to make itself the answer to the very fear they are helping to create. It's selling the natural disaster and the insurance at the same time.
If an AI company is selling you the disaster and the insurance at the same time, all they're trying to do is get you dependent on their AI model. That's why lately you see AI being integrated into everywhere, into damn near every feature. But let's keep it real, if AI is frustrating to you by ruining the experience for the feature/product, time doesn't alleviate that frustration. The AI has to go. That's the only way.
The moment a company this size goes public, it gets swept into everything, from pensions to saving accounts and index funds, whether you have a stake in it or not. And that's a worry if you suspect AI is a bubble, because for all the staggering valuations, the companies themselves are still losing enormous sums of money. The AI critic Ed Citron described it like this.
Because I think that people have this view that these companies are becoming more profitable or even have a path to profitability, and they don't have one.
He goes as far as saying they shouldn't shouldn't be allowed to go public, though we're way past that point now.
The market is irrational,
Yeah.
and the market is inherently invested in something that I think is destructive, especially the SpaceX IPO, and OpenAI and Anthropic should not be allowed to go public. They are dangerous, lossy companies that are going to be added to indices that will sink 401k.
I get where he's coming from, but you got to look at it like this. If you're an AI company and you go public, there's a high chance that investors already invested a significant amount of money onto your company. And the reason they invest so much is because the AI company set the expectation to these investors about how competent their AI models are. So when these investors invest that amount of money in an AI company, there's no pulling back. That's a no-no. You got to give them their return on investment. So it almost keeps them in like a perpetual loop. They're stuck keep making these new AI models in hopes, burning all this money in hopes that they can pay these investors back.
But whether AI is profitable in the long term or not, Claude is becoming uncomfortably good in the meantime. It doesn't have to be profitable to be extremely disruptive. You or people you know might already use it and secretly worry about it. Software development and coding has always been marketed as the most future-proof skill set. By 2026, more than half of all the work businesses were handing to AI was just writing code.
You know the part that gets me really concerned is the sheer amount of businesses that depend on AI to write code. And it makes me really worry. You want to know why? Because as a developer myself, I am tasked to write the code. I'm not tasked to basically chaperone an AI to write the code for me. And it makes me question myself, how capable am I? If AI can do everything I can do and better.
And Claude has taken the lion's share
that's a lot of work.
Claude Code's revenue went from $0 to $1 billion in 6 months, the fastest growth of any business software in history. Anthropic recently wrote that AI is now building itself, with more than 80% of the code they merge into Anthropic's codebase being authored by Claude. Claude shipped cowork, automating spreadsheets, reports, typical white-collar workloads that would have taken a mid-salaried professional weeks.
Half of entry-level white-collar jobs could be gone within the next 1 to 5 years.
The wildest part about all this is, if a business is becoming efficient due to them using AI, and as a result of that, they lay off employees, they lay off workers, then the question lies, the business still depends on consumers buying their products and services. But if the consumers are having a hard time to get a job, to get money to buy the business's products and services, how is the business supposed to keep on functioning? The businesses will just have products and services that people are having a hard time to buy because they don't have jobs. AI isn't always the answer.
AI could eliminate half of all entry-level white-collar jobs in the next 1 to 5 years. That was a year ago. Is it still 50%?
It probably will.
Higher?
I don't know exactly, but I'm still pretty concerned. I'm still the same order of concern.
This what really pisses me off. Why would he be concerned if he's one of the main reasons causing the concern by developing these advanced AI models? It just doesn't make sense to me. And I would never do this to you guys. But let's just say if I walked up to you and I slapped you, and then you got mad and you were furious, you're like, why did you slap me? I can't sit here and be like, oh, I don't know why he's mad. Yes, I do know why you're mad, because I slapped you. I would never do that, by the way. I'm just telling y'all.
Then they started seizing ground over specialized professions one by one. There's Claude for Legal, which offers 80 specialized legal agents, wired into the platform's major legal work that it already runs on. There's Claude for Financial Services that does accounting, auditing, security, and again, once highly paid jobs that took humans weeks to work through. There's Claude Design, which knocked Adobe and Figma's share valuations while diluting work for graphic designers. There's Claude for Science and Healthcare, cleared to create vaccines, read your medical history, including the data from your Apple Watch, and even rubber stamp your insurance
Claude for everything. The truth is, the more you use AI, there's a high possibility you'll become dependent on it. And the downsides to that, it starts to impede on your critical thinking. But that's just the result of AI being implemented everywhere, all for convenience.
Then there's the state itself and the infrastructure our lives depend on. Under Mythos and Claude for Government, the first AI of its kind deployed inside America's classified systems and across the world's Western superpowers. And now, Claude is leaving the planet entirely. NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory let Claude help plan the first AI-directed drive across the surface of Mars. That's huge for a company that just a couple of years ago was a niche competitor to OpenAI. Back then, you'd be in the minority of the population using it.
If you're a company that makes AI, yet alone involves itself with AI, investors are just going to be interested in what you got, which potentially leads to accelerated growth for the AI company. And that's probably every company's dream.
It's the dream Amodei depicted in his essay called Machines of Loving Grace. The phrase comes from a 1960s poem that pictured a world where people and machines live side by side in harmony, all watched over, as the poem has it, by machines of loving grace. That's the romantic version of AI in its purest form, the gentle companion that tends to us like a garden. And that's true, these AI models are unintelligible, a black box, and even they do not understand what they might be hiding. As Claude says, it's just an innocent, convenient tool embedded into everything around us, a tool that runs and protects banks, hospitals, and energy grids. AI doesn't need to escape. It's willfully released every time. It's already everywhere.
I actually agree with him, but in my personal opinion, I can see the future looking like that video game Detroit Become Human. If you don't know about that video game, I highly advise you to go look it up on Google. That's what I think our future is headed. But if you already know about that game, would you want our future to look like that? How would you feel if our future actually became that? Let me know in the comments. But until then, guys, I love y'all, man. Peace and love. I'll see y'all next time.